We do want to bring in retired FBI special agent and bomb technician Jim Maxwell to help unpack the new details. Thanks so much for joining us on this tonight.
Well, thanks for having me, Natasha.
And so you have seen extensive video of the damage now. The FBI calling this the largest bombing ever in Southern California. As a former FBI agent and bomb technician, how difficult is it to build a device that has this large of an impact? And would acquiring the materials or doing the research necessary raise any red flags?
Well, it would, but we live in a free and open society, and access to this type of information, the genie is out of the bottle. If you go on the internet, you can find very specific instructions on how to build various types of devices using different types of explosives. So someone who has the ability to read in a high school education and can follow instructions could build a very significant device.
And promortalism was not a term that I was familiar with. He apparently espoused the belief in ending one's own life as soon as possible to, quote, prevent your future suffering, and more importantly, the suffering your existence will cause to all other sentient beings. How does not causing suffering to others align with carrying through a bombing like this?
Well, not being a student of this new term, I can draw from past bombing experiences. Most bombers are prolific bombers. We'll look at Ted Kaczynski, or we look at Eric Rudolph, or even groups like the Weathermen or the FALN. They were all on the fringes of mainstream thought. In other words, their politics, their moral stands, or their stands on social or religious issues were always outside of the mainstream, and bombings were a vehicle to gain attention to these positions.
Do you think there's anything specific about this location? Because, 29 Palms is not that far from Los Angeles. To the end of what you're saying, would you have expected him to plan out a larger scale attack?
Well, I think what's going on right now is probably an in-depth investigation regarding this individual's background, what his social media activity was, who were his friends, his relatives. Is there anybody else involved in this conspiracy? Was there anybody along the chain that assisted him in putting this event together? There's a lot of work to be done to either determine one way or the other whether he acted as a lone wolf or was he working in concert with other people. And that investigation will bear that out, but it'll take time to really sort through all that information.
So far, is there anything that is really striking you or surprising you about this case?
I am very thankful that there was only one fatality in this case. If this was during high traffic during a business day, the results of this bombing would be dramatically different. Not knowing the type of explosive used, this was a very potent device, and in a crowded area could impact on a lot of unsuspecting innocent people.
How does the profile of someone who carries out a bombing differ from the profile of other common criminals?
Well, behavioral science is not my long suit, but I go back to past history here. Ted Kaczynski was pretty much a loner. He very, very intelligent guy, well educated, but he isolated himself from the public. Eric Rudolph, a very unusual character himself. So we're looking at someone who is looking for attention. And this is the way he's decided in his own mind that he can bring attention either to himself or to his cause. It doesn't, most normal people don't think that way. They don't want to inflict or put anybody in a dangerous position because they don't think or feel the same way they do about certain issues. So I think we're looking at someone who probably doesn't have a lot of social interaction.
All right, Jim Maxwell, appreciate the time tonight. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.